Hello, welcome to Gurukul's Catch 100 series, a series that's designed specifically to take you from your study room to the corporate boardroom. I am Prady Sharma, and this is Verbal Mastery with Prady.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough.
Everyone, welcome back to another video. Now, in case you want to take these questions as a test, all you've got to do is go on to www.thegurukul.org.in and sign up for the 100 Days to CAT test series. In case you want to continue with this video, then this is your first question, which is a para completion type of question. Pause the video here, answer this question, and then we'll move forward into your second question. Now, this is your second question. Pause the video here, answer this question, and then we'll move on to the third question. This is your third question. Pause the video here, answer this question, and then we'll move on to the fourth question. This is your fourth question. Pause the video here, answer this question, then we'll move on to the fifth question. This is the fifth and the last question of the day, guys. Pause the video here, answer this question, and then we'll get into the explanations of all these questions. Now, for the first question, guys, the sentence says most were first-time users of a tablet and a digital app. Now, if I were to just think about this sentence for a millisecond also, the first question that should come to my mind is most of who were, right? Who are these people whom we are classifying into a subset as most, right? Now, let's read about the paragraph. आगे बढ़ें, USPs lie in the ethnographic research that constituted the foundation of its development process. Fair enough. Customizations based on learning directly from potential users were critical to making this self-paced app suitable for both a literate and non-literate audience. Great. So till this point, what's he doing? He's basically telling me about the good things, the unique selling propositions, what is nice about this particular app. And he's told me that he's done some kind of an ethnographic research. That means he's gone into the depths of how culture and how people are. And on the basis of that, he's had some learnings, and those learnings were very critical to make this app. And this app is suitable for both literate and non-literate audience. Now, over here, can I place this most were first-time users? No, because I do not know number. Okay, unless I know a number of some people, I cannot say most of those people, right? Now, the user interface caters to a Hindi-speaking audience who have minimal to no experience with digital services and devices. Fair enough. So now he's moving into the app. He's trying to detail to us about the app. Okay, now can I place it in two? Absolutely not, because he's talking to me about the app. Okay, now this thing talks to me about, the users. So it's two different things altogether. So definitely not two. The content and functionality of the app are suitable for a wide audience. This includes youth preparing for an independent role in life or student ready to create strong foundation of financial management early in her life. Great. Again, over here he's saying that this app is suitable for XYZ members. But he's still not given me any kind of a number for me to tell most of these people were, or most were first-time users. For that, most, who are those most? Am I talking about those most as students, or am I talking about those most as, people who are preparing for an youth, who are preparing for an independent role in life? It's not very clear. So maybe I may think about placing it here if I do not get a better blank to go ahead in. Household members desirous of improving their family's financial strength to reach their aspirations can also benefit. We piloted Aage Badhe in 2021 with over 400 women from rural areas. Now these 400 women, okay, from rural areas. Now this actually tries to bring in the connection. If I were to say most were first-time users of tablet and digital app, two things. A, logically it makes more sense because these are people from rural areas, so we could maybe think that yes, they have not used the app before. Also, when we have a number, I can say most of these people. So most of these 400 women. So for me, 4 fits much better than 3. That's why I would go with option 4 as my perfect answer. Now let's go to the second question. Now this question is an odd man out type of a question. So again, we can do two things. We could either go with a ParaJumble approach, try to figure out what are the 4 sentences that connect, and then take out one sentence, or we could go with theme separation. Okay, now over here, if you look, humans have been bedazzled by the effects for millennia, making up many stories to explain the enigmatic lights. So all these confusing lights, okay, that they've been seeing, they are very fascinated by those effects, okay, and they're trying to make up stories. So again, I can think of this theme as something that is historical and has to do with fascination. Okay, and auroras, curtains of colors in the night sky, are created by the interaction of Earth's magnetosphere and atmosphere with the solar wind. Great. So this tells me about the scientific explanation Okay. Now third one, during the early part of the last century, scientists in a variety of disciplines including astronomy, physics, meteorology looked at the light, but funding and institutional support were lacking everywhere but Norway. Okay, now what does this tell me? This tells me about some kind of a funding issue. Okay, but more importantly, this part about early part of last century. Okay, this also tells me that this is a historical perspective somewhere. Okay. Now 4. Historian of science Helge Krag writes that the Rorel's research didn't constitute a scientific discipline of its own until halfway through the 20th century. Now over here I can say that this part about the 20th century and this part about early last century, these both kind of go together, right? So this is also historical, to be honest. Yes, so somewhere I see that there's a link between my 4 and 3 statements. Now what about 5? The science of auroras, on the other hand, is of more recent vintage. Now, on the other hand, the moment when I say on the other hand to what? See, in 2 he says it's about auroras only, so definitely this cannot be on the other hand of it. Yes. Now I know that the science of auroras, when he's talking about the science of auroras, this is about some kind of, lights and all, the puzzling lights and all. So I see that this is also a little bit of historical. Okay, why? Because he says is more of a recent vintage. The vintage part tells me that it's kind of historical, right? Now, if I'm looking at all of these, I see that there are 4 sentences, 1, 3, 4 and 5, which talk about the historical perspectives of researching about auroras, and this second one tells me the scientific perspective. So clearly I can understand that 2 is my odd man out. But let's try to put it into the picture and see what is the actual order of these sentences. So in 1, 5, 4, in 1, 3, 4 and 5, I would say that definitely 4 and 3 are linked together. Yes, I can also say that this bedazzlement, the fascination that people have, okay, that is the vintage part, and science of auroras is much more recent in that part. So I can say that 1 and 5 will go together. Now definitely when we are talking about science of auroras, only after that we'll talk about how research has happened and also chronologically speaking, this block of 4, 3 would come this side, making 1, 5, 4, 3 the order, which means that 2 should be our odd man out. Yes, let's go to the next question. Now this question again is an odd man out type of question. So let's read the 5 sentences and let's try to understand again by theme differentiation and ParaJumble approach which would be our correct answer. In the course of the 5th century BCE, the term, while retaining its original unspecific sense, came in addition to be applied specifically to a new type of intellectuals, professional educators who toured the Greek world offering instructions in a wide range of subjects with particular emphasis on skill in public speaking and the successful conduct of life. Now, in all of this, I have just first one question, primary question. The term, which term are we talking about? Okay. Then my second question that comes is that while retaining its original unspecific sense, that means what? There must have been at least 2 meanings, right? It became additionally applied to something else, correct? That means there must be one meaning initially and then some other meaning got added onto it. Fair enough. The Greek word sophist, from the noun sophia, wisdom or learning, has the general sense one who exercises wisdom or learning. Okay. Now if I'm looking at this, I can maybe think that the term we are talking about is nothing but sophist. Yes, I can also think that this general sense is what we are talking about as the original unspecific sense. So there is some kind of a mapping that I can already see amongst these 2. Okay. Now third one, originally carrying a meaning of cleverness, skill, the later meaning of that term, close to the meaning of phronesis, was significantly shaped by the term philosophia. Okay, maybe over here what I see is that the new or additional term may be connected here, but although I'm not entirely sure why, because he's saying that it has another meaning of phronesis and that is significantly shaped by the term philosophia, but we're only talking about sophists, right? So this somewhere is a little puzzling to me, but maybe there's a connection, we don't know yet. As Sophia could designate specific types of expertise as well as general sagacity in the conduct of life and the higher kinds of insight associated with seers and poets, the word originally meant sage or expert. Now, very clearly, I can now understand that this original meaning would be this part. Okay, no doubt in that. Yes, so here, originally carrying a meaning of would not be the actual link. Why would that not be the actual link? Because very, very clearly here we are talking about Sophia, which is coming from Sophist. Here philosophia, we're adding another word. Okay, another roots being added. So clearly in this context, I can see that 1, 2 and 4 are kind of related, 3 not so much. 5, the emergence of this new profession, which was an extension of the, new areas of the tradition of the iterant rhapsody, was a response to various social, economic, political and cultural developments of the period. So now over here, when I'm looking at this came in addition to be specifically applied to a new type of intellectuals, I could probably talk about this new profession as a new type of intellectuals, right? Yes. So very clearly, for me, there's a link between 1, 2, 4 and 5, but not 3. Yes. So definitely 3 must be my odd man out, but what could be the order? Most general sentence out of all of this is 2. So definitely I will start with 2. Yes. And then the original meaning is what he's spoken about in the first type. So for me to understand, I could think that 4 is elaborating 2. Okay. Why is 4 elaborating 2? Because this is giving me the general sense. See, when we have connected this general sense to the original meaning, that means this is just an addition, right? Yes, this is just an expansion of that general sense of the meaning, right? So I would go with 4. Yes, and then when I talk about the emergence of this new profession, the question that I need to beg is which new profession, and then I understand these, right? So unless I have this, I will not be able to tell you this new profession. So I'll go to 1 and then at the end I'll come to the 5th one. So the best possible order would be 2, 4, 1 and 5 with 3 as the odd man out. Now let's go to the 4th question of the day. This 4th question is a para-jumble type of question. So let's read the 4 sentences. Let's see where are the connections and then we'll mark the answer. At first, I thought I was reading it wrong. The youngest sibling is a faithful and perennial servant. Perennial means something that goes on forever, goes on for a very long time. Okay, fair enough. Now, this looks like it's referring to some kind of a work already, but okay. But Sarah Bernstein's Study of Obedience is an unusual book and life follows a strange order. Now, I might think that I read it wrong, could be something from this book. But the big problem that I have over here is this word but. Okay, since I have but over there, I know that this probably shouldn't be my starting. Okay, 3rd one. The unnamed narrator is servile and always has been, we don't know how old she is, but we're told she is detested and reluctantly tolerated by her family and peers. Now, but definitely only after I get 2 will I be able to come to 3. Why? Because unless I say that it's an unusual book and it follows a strange order, this order shouldn't be discussed, right? Now 4, didn't we all know that it is they who have it the easiest? So what is this they who have it the easiest? Probably in all of these things, they could be the youngest sibling. Okay. Now why is he not saying he or she? Because he's not given us any gender, which is why we are going with they. Okay. Now a lot of us might think that her family and peers would become they because it's a plural. But if I'm taking they as family and peers, them having it the easiest, that means them just tolerating it doesn't make any sense over there. Correct? So clearly 2 cannot be my starting sentence, 4 cannot be my starting sentence, 3 comes after 2, so it cannot be my starting sentence, which means 1 becomes my starting sentence, and after I get 1, I'll go to 4. Yes, because I have the link between the youngest and didn't we all know they who have it easiest, and then I'll come to 2 and finally 3 as an order. So the correct order should be 1, 4, 2 and 3. Now let's go into the last question of the day. It may indicate, again, this is a 4-sentence para-jumble. Yes, so it may indicate that an action is completed or still going. So my first question would be, what may indicate that an action is completed or still going? In English, adding the morpheme ed to the verb walk to form walked indicates that the event denoted by the verb occurred before the present time. Okay, great. He's explaining to me that, something has happened in the past. Fine. So this maybe I can think as is completed, but or still ongoing, this part is a little challenging if I'm taking this link. So I'm not going to make this link directly. Many languages have grammatical means to indicate the time when an action or event occurs or when a state or process holds. This phenomenon is called tense. Okay, great. Now, as far as I understand, So far, amongst 1, 2 and 3, 3 looks like the starting sentence. It's very, very clean and it's very, very broad. It looks like it's introducing the concept of tense. What is called aspect, on the other hand, deals with an internal constituency of actions, events, states, process or situations. Now, what I get is that there are two things over here. One is tense and on the other hand, I have aspect. So very clearly, if I'm looking at this, second one or the second statement is talking about tenses, basic sense, okay? And the fourth statement could be what is talking about aspect, where this it is nothing but the aspect. So definitely I can say that my correct order should be 3, which is followed by 2, which is followed by 4, which is followed by 1. Now, if you've stayed till here, please drop a like because that motivates us to keep bringing these kind of videos for you every single day. Share this video with your friends who are preparing for CAT 2025 and I'll see you in the next video.
Hope you enjoyed learning from today's session.
This series is designed to help you with your CAT preparation and practice daily. We are with you in this journey.
To watch the next video, click here. And to watch Gurukul's CAT 100 series, study room to boardroom, the entire playlist, click here.
If you learned from today's session, like, share, and subscribe.